All right, so you know what to do when you have the same denominator. You just add the numerator. But what happens when you have two fractions with different denominators? Let's look at the picture first. Here we have 1/2, that's this picture, and here we have a quarter. So if we add 1/2 and a quarter, what should the answer be? All right, so here's 1/2, and we divide this into fourths, and we're going to add a quarter. All right. Now looking at this, it looks exactly like this picture right over here. So 1/2 plus a quarter should equal 3/4. As you can see, you can draw pictures to represent the fractions and kind of figure it out that way. So let's see if we get 3/4. So here's 1/2 plus a fourth. The first thing we must do is make sure the fractions have the same denominator. As we can see here, they do not. So if they do not, we have to find the least common multiple. How do we do that? Well, that's why we're practicing our times table. You have to know your multiples for each number. So what I would do is take the first fraction and let's find some multiples of 2. So we know that 2 times 1 is 2. So that's the first multiple. We know that 2 times 2 is 4. That's the second multiple. We know that 2 times 3 is 6. That's the third. And we know that 2 times 4 is 8. That's the fourth multiple. All right, let's stop there for now. We can keep going, but let's stop there for now. Now let's find the multiples of 4. We know that 4 times 1 is 4. Put that down. We know that 4 times 2 is 8. Put that down. That's the second multiple. We know that 4 times 3 is 12. Put that down. That's the third multiple. And we know that 4 times 4 is 16. We're going to write that down. So now we match up these two numbers. These are the multiples of 2, and these are the multiples of 4. We have to find now the least common multiple. So which number do they have in common, the least number that they have in common? If we look here, we see a 4 right here, and we see a 4 right here. That number is the first number that 2 and 4 have in common. So this is considered the least common multiple. So now that we have the least common multiple, what do we do with it? Well, what I like to do, I like to rearrange my problem. All right. So I'm going to change this and I'm going to write it vertically. So I'm going to do 1/2 and I'm going to do my plus over here and I'm going to do my 1/4 right here. Oops. Let's erase that and make that a 4. All right. So my question is, my least common multiple is a 4. So I don't have to do anything to this to this fraction right here. I'm just going to slide it over here as is. So we're going to have 1/4 over here as is. Now my question is, how can I make this 2 a 4? What do I have to multiply this by to get 4? So I know that 2 times 2 is 4. So I'm going to have to multiply the denominator by 2 to get 4. All right. If I take 2 times 2, I have 4. Now, I can't just multiply the denominator by 2. That'll change the expression. That'll change the fraction into a different fraction. But I want to keep 1/2, 1/2. So that means I have to multiply the numerator and the denominator by exactly the same amount. So I have to take the denominator by 2 and also the numerator by 2. So then we have 2/4. So now 1/2 is exactly the same as 2/4. All right. So now we can add these two new fractions, the 2/4 and the 1/4 together. So what do we do next? Now that we have the least common multiple, we go on to step number 3. We add the numerator and keep the denominator. So under here, we're going to add the numerator, 2 plus 1, we get 3. And we're going to keep the denominator, which is 4. The answer is now 3/4. And now we go over here, we added a half to a quarter, and it's exactly 3/4. Now remember, let's go back and check to make sure that this is actually an equivalent fraction. All right. So over there, we took a half and we took it times 2/2. What is 2/2 really? 2/2 is 1. So we literally took a half times 1, and any number times itself is actually that number, right? So we have 2/4 over here. We can simplify this. 2 goes into 2 one time. So we have a 1. Let's put our equal sign here. Let's fix this up a little bit. So 2 goes into 2 one time. We put a 1 right here. And 2 goes into 4 two times. So when we simplify it, we get exactly the same thing as we start out with. So that is why when you multiply a fraction by the same numerator and denominator, you end up with exactly the same thing. You're not changing you're not changing the value of the fraction at all, because when you divide the same number by the same number, you're going to get 1, and 1 times any number is the same. So go ahead and move on to the next slide.